I feel like as of right now, when it comes to ZBCN, it just feels like somewhat of the beginning. Because keep in mind, 10 cents is around a 33x from here. So I still think there's hypothetically a ways to go, even though nothing I say is financial advice. But take a look at how well ZBCN has been doing. So I can't say I told you so, but hypothetically I did tell you so. Because take a look at back when I was first talking about ZBCN. Wasn't doing good, then had a good pump, then had a good dump. Everyone was saying, oh, ZBCN's worse than a meme coin and all this type of stuff, right? Now ZBCN market cap is beyond $200 million. So just imagine that. But even despite this, some people like to say that, oh, ZBCN still sucks. But again, take a look at how well it's doing. So I can't say it sucks. You know what I mean? Not to mention as well, I don't have a magic crystal ball, right? Some people think, oh, you made such a fantastic prediction on ZBCN. Hypothetically, kind of did. But here's the thing. In my opinion, I do know projects that are good fundamentally in most cases. I'm not going to say I'm going to be 100% correct. But when I take the look at Zebec, I just kind of felt like, wow, this fundamentally felt better than Ripple and Stellar. This is just my opinion, right? I'm not saying it's going to be better in terms of market cap when it comes to ZBCN, but I'm just saying, in terms of fundamentals, this felt a little bit more complete. This one felt a little bit more polished and more diverse. Take a look at it. Zebec focused on AI-based PayFi, focused on RWAs, right? RWA payments. That's amazing. That's a big narrative as of right now, actually. Take a look at as well, right? When we take a look at Zebec, investors are like, the likes of Solana Ventures and also Circle, which is the creator of USDC, has partnerships with JP Morgan, Bank of America, Visa, MasterCard. So I can't say it's bad. You know what I mean? So when I take a look at something like this, I just, ask myself this question, why would this not do well? And hypothetically, we're seeing a glimpse of that. But here's the thing. Many altcoins out there have done only around a 2x from its kind of like lows, right? Or should I say most recent lows? ZBCN has been doing very fantastic. So imagine once the altcoin season really is in fifth gear, because I don't think we've seen it yet. We've seen Bitcoin reach an all-time high, which is very amazing. But again, sometimes when people take a look at that, they're like, wow, man, take a look at how well Bitcoin did and all this. Because if, let's say, assuming at the time of the Bitcoin all-time high, right? I'm hypothetically, again, in this notion that at least someone either bought at the all-time high, maybe a little bit higher, depending on if they got it from some random exchange, who knows, right? But I'm assuming many people out there probably are in profit. So then when they take a look at their friends, they're like, oh, wow, take a look at, your portfolio. We're in profit. Yeah, sure, you hold ZBCN, that's in profit, but take a look at your other projects. It's not doing well. Some people may be saying that. So some people may be under this notion like, oh, wow, maybe we should have just got Bitcoin and all this type of stuff. But personally, in my opinion, I am not going to get into Bitcoin, especially as of right now, because imagine this, right? What could Bitcoin do from right now in the next 6 to 10 months? Maybe as a best case scenario, let's say $300,000. That's not even a 3x from here, slightly less actually, but I'm just saying. That's not that good for me. Anything under a 10x, in my opinion, is very boring. So why would I get into that? It's like as if ZBCN went to the price of 3 cents and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to FOMO all into this. Like what? That wouldn't make any sense, right? It's like, can you imagine all the hypothetical gains lost along the way? That doesn't make any sense, really. This is just my opinion. Now, of course, even FOMOing at like 5 cents, I just kind of don't get that. But the way you take a look at it is that when it comes to me, my goal is to hypothetically enter before things have truly waken up, right? Before things have truly pop off. So when it comes to ZBCN, sometimes people like to say, oh, you're just talking about it because, it's doing well. Well, again, take a look at my earlier videos on ZBCN. I was talking about it back when people considered it kind of caca. So I don't think it's a bad call, at least in my opinion, hypothetically for me. Now, I can't speak on anyone's behalf, but I just don't see why ZBCN hypothetically can't even do better during a fully fledged bull run, because I don't think we've seen a fully fifth gear type of altcoin season. Keep in mind, again, ZBCN did well, but many altcoins out there are not doing well. And there's even some historical data that could very well showcase that, near the end of this year could maybe be a special time. Usually altcoins peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event as a worst case scenario. So based on the last one, or should I say based on the last Bitcoin halving event that happened in April of 2024, that would actually mean around October this year. So again, there could maybe be some time here, but with the way I see a lot of altcoins beginning to have an okay recovery, the way I'm seeing Bitcoin do well as of right now, if this kind of prolongs, I'm not saying there's going to be no pullbacks, because at times along the way, there's going to be people that leave. That's totally fine, in my opinion. That's totally normal. There's going to be people out there that just don't want to be in cryptos anymore, don't want to believe in the project, or they think it pumped too much, so they leave. So there's going to be pullbacks along the way. But I'm prepared for that because I have an end goal in mind, right? I have a vision. And doesn't mean I'm going to be correct, by the way, but 10 cents really wouldn't surprise me. So the way I view it is that, yes, when it comes to ZBCN, it's doing very well as of right now, but I feel like, again, we're not in a fully fledged altcoin season yet. So when that does happen, take a look at what happened right now. Could it very well be amplified in a much more fantastic way? Maybe. But only time will tell. Especially, again, if altcoins start doing very good and Bitcoin starts doing very amazing, and this continues, ZBCN, man, I really can't wait for its future. But 10 cents, sometimes people think it's insane. But the way I view it is this: an $8 billion market cap, which give or take it would have considering current circulating supply at that price point, around a 33x from here. Again, like I mentioned earlier on the video. I don't think this is too bad really, because if let's say a lot of people out there are calling for like, XRP to go to like a $1 trillion market cap, like, XLM to go to around 300 billion, let's say that's even a very bullish case scenario. Let's say we have that, right? Like, let's say XRP 500 billion and then, XLM around 150 billion. Even at that point, like, why can't some flow into this, I just don't see why not. ZBCN, I get it. People may think, oh, it's kind of bad and all this. But again, we have to take a look at the other viable options within projects that are kind of similar to XRP and XLM. Of course, there's XDC, XCN, XPR, there's something like Swiftcoin. So when you really think about that straight out the bat, that's not too many competitors right there. There's not like 20 or 30. You know what I mean? Like what we see with NFTs and all the, this random type of stuff, blockchain gaming and DeFi and whatnot. There's not like 20, 30 competitors. So ZBCN's in this very unique position. Zebec isn't doing the most things because people are like, oh, Zebec, it's only too focused on its cards. Who cares about the Zebec cards? Well, here's the thing. Let's take a look at its competitors. What is Onyx doing, right? AKA XCN. What is that really doing? Again, they're kind of focused on Goliath, which allegedly could be this amazing layer one blockchain. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, that's not too much, right? We take a look at what Stellar and Ripple really doing. I mean, sure, Ripple, there's good news about the SEC and that nonsense hopefully being gone forever. But there's really no news that could kind of top that. You know what I mean? That's kind of like the pinnacle for Ripple, in my opinion, at least for this cycle. There's no better news that could top that, It's just my opinion. And of course, also Stellar, right? But I feel like there's not too much hype news going on for it. Not to mention when it comes to XDC, sometimes we don't really know what they're even doing. And when it comes to XPR, it's cool. There's really not too much fantastic news coming out from there. Also Swiftcoin, in my opinion, right? So it's not like the competitors really have too much going on for it either. Because let's say the competitors were doing like 20 or 30 things on like average or whatever, which seems very unrealistic, but I'm just saying like as a analogy type of an example, right? If let's say they were doing that and Zebec was kind of only focused on the cards, then yeah, that's kind of a little bit alarming actually. But because the other competitors are pretty much only doing like one thing or like two things, maybe max, like who knows? That doesn't seem like it's a standard that is too high. And not to mention, I kind of feel like given the competitors and what they're doing, I think Zebec is kind of in line with like, the good ones, even though it's not doing the most things out there in the grand scheme of things, but it's good enough for the niche, for the specific, sector that it's in. So I don't think it's bad. I'm still going to believe in this, and ZBCN at the price of 10 cents, I don't see why not. And hypothetically, I think what we're seeing as of right now, it just feels like the beginning for me, in my opinion. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. Greatly appreciate it. It's Mali the Captain, and I'll catch you all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.